guys, how are you? I hope that you've had an awesome day learning. Um, I'm super excited to get into our writing today. First of all, because the topic has to do with food, which you know is my favorite thing. So before we get started, what I need you to do is make sure that you go to the YouTube video with Miss Crawford and listen to her read the book. The book name is My Plate and You. And it's a nonfiction book that talks to you about all the ways that you can eat healthy, which is very important for us, for our bodies, so that we can grow up and be big and strong. So today, so before we even think about writing, make sure if you haven't already done so, pause the video, go back, watch Miss Crawford read you this really cool nonfiction book about eating healthy. So our topic for writing today is going to be, what is your favorite food group to eat food from? So before we can even write about that, we need to think about the food groups. So let's talk about the food groups. The first food group that we can talk about is the grain group. The grain group is certain things like, I'm just making sure that I'm reading it correct. Brain group has things. Think about what Miss Crawford had said to you. Think in your head before I tell you. What are some things what are some foods that are in the grain group? Think about what Miss Crawford read. Hmm. A few that I can think of that Miss Crawford read were rice and oats and wheat, and my personal favorite, pasta. Now, I remember when we talked about our picnic, I told you we eat macaroni on picnics because I'm Italian and we eat macaroni all the time. So, pasta is also part of the grain group. So, those are a few things that are in the grain group. Next, let's think about the vegetable group. What are some things, some foods that are in the vegetable group? Take a minute and think. I mean, any vegetables in the vegetable group. You have peppers and carrots and lettuce and eggplant. I love eggplant. Um, Kale. What else do we have? Celery, asparagus, all those cool vegetables, carrots that my mom used to tell me, corn. My mom used to say to me when I was younger, make sure you eat all your vegetables so you grow up big and strong. So I did. So those are some vegetables. What about the fruit group? Think about the fruit group. Hmm. Let's see. Bananas, pears, oranges. I know Yuri and Zaire love to eat the clementines. I always see Peyton with fruit, and I always see Madison with fruit. Any kind of fruit, grapes, I think I already said, um, cantaloupe, pineapple. Those are all fruits. So that's another fruit group. The next food group is the dairy group. This might be one of my favorite too. If you ask Miss Chrisman, because she knows that I love milk. I drink milk all the time. And one of the first things she ever said to me was, wow, you really love milk. And I do. Still drink milk. So that's one thing that's in the dairy group. Also, cheese, yogurt, which I love yogurt. You guys see me eat yogurt a lot too. That's part of the dairy group. And the protein group. Think about some things that Miss Crawford talked about in the protein group. Um, Meat, like a hamburger, a hot dog, chicken, beans, nuts, eggs, fish. They all have a lot of protein. Um, so those are the food groups. So let's think in our heads now what we want to write about. What food group do you want to write about? And while you're thinking, I'm going to write the title on the top of our page for us. So think about what food group you want to write about and why it's your favorite food group to eat food from. So pause your video, take a minute to think. If you want to think out loud like I am, or if you want to think in your head, that's fine too. Or if you want to tell the person you're watching with, either way, take a minute and think about what food group is your favorite and why you like to eat food from that food group. Friends, now what I want you to do is get your pencil and get a piece of paper. Remember, it doesn't have to have lines. It can be a white piece of paper like mine. So get a pencil and paper. If you have to pause the video, pause the video. We'll wait for you. And when you come back, we'll start the video up. You all have your pencil and your paper. At the very top of your paper, I want you to write the title of our writing today. My, which is a heart word, M-Y, favorite, A-V, or it. We could stretch that out. I already wrote it for you because I wrote the title already, but we could stretch it out too. The, or, like orchestra, O-R, it, I-T, and then E. Food, ood, ooh, like loose tooth. F, like F-O-O-D, ood, like graceful, G-R, ooh. You would think it would be O-O, but it's O-U. G-R-O-U-P. My favorite food group. If you need to take a minute to finish writing that, go ahead and pause the video and we'll wait for you. Now it's time to think again. What is our first step in writing? Yell it at the screen. Yell it to me. That's right. Think it. So now we're going to think what we want our first sentence to be. Take a minute, pause the video if you need to. Let's think together. Oh, got it. Now what's our second step? Say it. Oh, sorry. My favorite food group is. So we're going to have 5 words. And we already have 4 of our 5 words up here. So remember, come all the way down so we have space for our picture. And we're just going to copy what's up there. So our first word, we're going to start with our capital letter because it's the beginning of a sentence. My, capital M, Y, finger space, favorite, F, A, V, O-R-I-T-E. And remember, if you're writing on paper with outlines like me, try your hardest to make sure that your tall letters are tall, your monkey letters swing down, and your chicken letters are staying the same size. My favorite, finger space, food, and then we're going to write the word group. And then our last word, excuse me, of our sentence is, which is a heart word, I-S. Now, this is where your thinking comes in because your thinking might not be the same as my thinking. You might have a different favorite food group to eat foods from than me. So your job, I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to write what my favorite food group is, and then you're going to write what your favorite food group is. Now, I'll remind you what the food groups are, just in case you might have forgotten what your favorite one is. You should have it in your head, but I can remind you just in case. Okay, fruits, vegetables, dairy, protein, and grains. Okay, fruits, vegetables, dairy, protein, and grains. So you pick which one is your favorite to eat food from. And I'm going to pause it and write mine. I'm going to read to you what I wrote. My favorite food group is the grain group. Now, I'm not sure if you can see, but I'll put it a little closer. I made a mistake right here. I wrote the word grain before I wrote the word the. So I crossed it out. If I had an eraser, I would have erased it, but that's a good job in editing your work and realizing after you read it that if you make a mistake, you can fix it. Not a big deal. I'm not upset. I just crossed it off. I kind of wish I had an eraser, but I'm showing that it's okay to make a mistake. So my favorite food group is the grain group. Now, here's another job for you. I want you to think about why this is your favorite food group. And now let's put it in a sentence. Let's think about that. I got my sentence. So I thought about it. Now I'm going to say it. Oh, I made a mistake again. I love pasta, rice, and beans. So those are my 6 words for my next sentence. So I want you to write another sentence using all your strategies, stretching out your words, stretching out your words so that you can figure out the spelling, your sounds. If you want to use any of the words that we've already written, or any of the words that are around your house, that's a great idea. So we're going to pause the video. I'm going to write my next sentence that I just told you. While I'm writing mine, pause your video and you can write yours too. How's your sentence look? Is it looking good? I'm going to read you what I wrote. I love pasta, my favorite, rice, and beans. And those are all part of the grain group. So that's why the grain group is my favorite food group, because I love those foods. Now, 2 things that I want to remind you to look for when you're writing. Making sure you're putting capital letters at the beginning of your sentence. And see, at the end of my sentence, I have a period here, and then I start with a capital. And then I have another period after beans, because that's also the end of my sentence. And remember, don't just put a period wherever you want. Like, I don't put a period here. I put it at the end of my thought, at the end of my sentence. So read your sentence. While you're reading your sentence, I'm going to draw my picture to go along with my words. So pause the video, read your 2 sentences, and we'll be right back. I just realized something. I made another mistake. Beans, that's in the protein group, but that's okay. So I'm going to cross off beans and I'm going to put bread, because bread is also part of the grain group. This is another reason why it's important to read your writing, because if you make a mistake, you can fix it. Like, at first I was kind of bummed, like, oh man, I didn't even put beans in the right category, in the right group, but it's cool. I'm going to cross it off. Watch. And I'm going to write bread, because bread is part of the grain category. Beans is part of the protein category. So another mistake. So you guys are just watching Miss G make mistakes all over the place today, and it's okay, because I'm fixing them and I'm not getting down on myself. I'm okay. So I hope that you guys read your writing, and if you found a mistake, you fixed it. Now it's time to draw our picture. So I'm going to pause the video, and you guys pause the video. Remember, start in pencil, and then we'll come back in our show. We'll share our pictures. Took me a long time, even though it was only paused for a minute. It took me a long time to try to draw my stuff today, because I wanted to try really hard to show you guys I'm working on it. So here I have a picture of a loaf of bread, which I love, a piece of bread. Here's my rice and my pasta. So those are my three favorite things: pasta, rice, and bread. So your job is to finish your picture, add an extra sentence about why this is your favorite food group. And if you want to, send me some videos and pictures through my email or my phone of your writing. Hope you guys enjoyed talking about food with me as much as I did. See you tomorrow, guys.